I remember I had this friend in high school, and him and I would hang out all the time. And every time we hung out, I remember that he would tell me that no matter how much he ate, he would never be able to gain weight. And he was one of these like really skinny guys, rail thin. And, he would always like, hold his stomach and say, I eat so much food. I can eat whatever I want, but my metabolism is just so fast. I just can't gain weight. And there's one particular memory that comes to mind with him where him and I and a few other friends, we went to McDonald's one time. And again, this is in high school. And, we all got our food, we're sitting down, we're eating. I remember I got like two double cheeseburgers and like fries and a drink, and I downed all of that. Also, I should note I was athletic. I still am. But I was playing sports. I was lifting weights, doing cardio. So like I was burning a ton of calories. So I would just basically be like a food vacuum. I would just eat whatever was in front of me. Um, so yeah, so like him and I, all of us were in McDonald's and we're sitting down, we're eating, and I noticed that he only got one burger and fries and a drink. I don't know if it was like a double or a single, but it wasn't any like big burger or anything like that. It was just like a regular like double cheeseburger or single cheeseburger. And he only ate half of the burger and then half of the fries. And before we left, he just threw the rest away. He didn't finish any of it. So it was just the reason that memory stuck with me was because he would always tell me how he ate so much food and he could eat whatever he wanted, but like when we were at McDonald's eating really delicious food, he didn't even finish it. And I remember thinking like, low key, can I finish that for you? Like I could just keep eating, right? And like the whole purpose of me telling that story is because his mindset represents the average person's mindset who has this idea that they can't gain weight no matter how much they eat, no matter how many calories they eat. And when I say average person, I mean the average person who thinks that they're a hard gainer, or even if it's not in the context of lifting weights, they always make this comment like, "Oh man, I could eat whatever I want, however much I want. I just don't gain weight. I have such a fast metabolism." The thing is like they might be having a lot of protein feedings throughout the day. So the number of protein feedings they have might be high, but the amount of food per feeding is actually low. And if you ever hang out with one of these people for an entire day and you just pay attention to what they're eating and how much they're eating, you'll realize that you eat more in one meal than one of these people eats all day long. So that's why they're so thin. And I think a lot of the times they actually do believe that they can eat whatever they want. They could eat however much they want, and they have a really fast metabolism, and they just don't have the ability to gain weight. I think that these people actually oftentimes do believe that, but they don't understand that they don't really understand what a lot of food is. You know what I'm saying? So like let me put this into context. So it's August right now, and last month in July, I had this phase where every single weekend I was binging. So I would work throughout my work week, and then on the weekend I would just have these binges. It was like a hiatus of like 2 to 3 days straight where I would just binge, no limit, full send, just everything in sight is going to be eaten by me, right? And so like let me just like give you an example of like one meal of one of these binges, okay? And a little warning, it's disgusting, like the amount of food. But so just off the top of my head, one of the meals that I had, an entire package of Chips Ahoy, okay? a half a pack of Chips Ahoy on top of that pack of regular Chips Ahoy. But this other pack was like the Reese's version, right? So like it's a little bit smaller, but gosh, they're so good. So basically, a pack and a half of Chips Ahoy, an entire pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. It's like the American Dream flavor. Half of one of the entire bags of Foster Farms chicken nuggets. So if you go to like the freezer section of like Winco or whatever grocery store you're at, like you'll see like Foster Farms has these, like they're in like yellow bags, and one of them is like the chicken nuggets. I had like half of an entire, like just, I don't even know, like thousands of calories worth of chicken nuggets. What else? Oreos. So I had like almost half of a pack of Oreos. And here's the crazy thing. I was dipping the Oreos in Betty Crocker cream cheese frosting. Okay. Like just disgusting stuff. Like it already has frosting on it. Oreos already has the Oreo frosting on it. I'm dipping it. I'm dipping frosting in frosting. Okay. Oh yeah, an entire bag of Doritos. Okay, like the big bags of Doritos, nacho cheese flavor. Oh, and then on top of that, 4 eggs, like I normally do, right? I still integrated my protein into my binges because that's what I do. Just makes me feel like at least I'm hitting my protein macros, you know? So an entire, yeah, like 4 eggs with mozzarella cheese in there, low moisture mozzarella cheese, and then a big can of salmon, like one of these right here. I'll show you. Right, it's like an entire one of these of salmon. So that was one meal, like one sitting. Now that might have taken me like over an hour, but it was all in one sitting. And then what I would do is I would pass out, and then like I would wake up and I would just like continue like binging on crap. And it would be like a full weekend hiatus of this. I gained a lot of fat. Well, not like a lot, but like I gained like a noticeable amount of fat like over the course of July. And now it's the end of August. So like I'm finally like lean again, and I like burned it all off. You know, I corrected for it. But the point of me even telling you this story is to to demonstrate what a lot of food actually is, right? When you see these guys who are rail thin and they say, I can eat as much as I want, whatever I want, I just don't gain fat. You're not going to see them eat that much food in one sitting. Okay. You're just not going to see it happen. You're going to see them eat like birds throughout the day. Just like I said with my friend in high school, when we were at McDonald's, just like a couple bites here, a couple bites there, and then throws the rest away. You know, that's what you're going to see. Like when I was another like example, when I was in high school, me and two of my other friends, we had like a food eating competition. I think this was like in senior year of high school. We were like 17. It was like the end of the year. And, we had, like double cheeseburgers, right? One of my friends was only able to get 4.5 double cheeseburgers. Me and the other friend, we were like neck and neck, and he won. He ate 12 double cheeseburgers. I ate 11.5 double cheeseburgers. Okay. Again, obviously this is in one sitting because this is a food eating competition, right? So like that just goes like, that is a lot of food. Okay. So you won't see these like rail thin, skinny guys eating that much food who say, my metabolism is so fast. And so like when I say fast metabolisms don't exist, what I mean is they don't exist when you start to account for things like muscle mass, genetic predispositions for how much food you can eat. Some people, I think, just like they get full quicker genetically. You start to account for NEAT, like non-exercise activity thermogenesis, how much somebody is moving around. You can have two people of the same BMI. Somebody has a little bit more NEAT. You start to account for like just overall calorie burn. Is somebody on their day off from work, or is somebody at work working for 12 hours on their feet doing physically strenuous activity, right? Because that could be an extra 2,000 calories right there, 3,000 calories, depending on the person's body weight that they're burning just because they're at work versus being at home. doing nothing, right? So like once you start to account for all these things, you realize that the idea of a magically fast metabolism starts to fade, right? You realize that it's just it becomes less of a thing that you actually think is real. But like people still say it and people still believe it, like, oh yeah, he just has a fast metabolism. No, he doesn't have a fast metabolism. He just doesn't eat. That's all it is. There might be some variance, right? Like if you have two guys who are like, the same height and weight and like muscle mass and BMI and, everything's accounted for, there might be a variance of like 50 calories, maybe 100 calories at most, difference that they're going to burn for whatever reason, whatever's going on internally. But we're not talking about like a difference of like thousands and thousands of calories, right? The binge that I discussed earlier that I did, like it was like tens of thousands of calories per like hiatus or per weekend that I was binging. And like you're not going to see skinny guys who say they have a fast metabolism and they can't gain any weight do that and not gain weight. They would gain weight. So like I guess like here's my challenge. This is what I would say to anybody who thinks that they have like a really fast metabolism, they can't gain weight, whether it's within the context of living or not, living, what the fuck, whether it's within the context of working out or not. Let's say you're having 3 meals a day, okay? Right? Let's say you're having 3 meals a day. With each meal, add here 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, okay, per meal, and add half of a can of one of these big cans of salmon, okay? So what that's going to do is it's going to add 2 tablespoons is 190 calories, okay? Half of one of these is 300 calories because the whole can has 600, so it would be 300. So that's a total of 490 calories. 2 tablespoons of peanut butter has 7 grams of protein. Half of this can has 45 grams of protein because the whole can has 90 grams of protein. So 7 plus 45 is 52. So per meal, you would be adding 490 calories and 52 grams of protein. When you look at the protein to calorie ratio, that's actually very high protein. If you think about it, like anything over 10 grams of protein per 100 calories is very high protein. Because consider like a 2,000 calorie diet. Well, if like 200 grams, if you had 200 grams of protein while eating a 2,000 calorie diet, like 2,000 calories isn't really that much, but 200 grams of protein is a lot, right? So you'd be adding a significant amount of calories, but you'd be adding a lot of protein, right? And you do that times 3, right? 490 times 3 is 1470. Okay. So you'd be adding 1,470 calories more per day. And 52 times 3, that's 156 grams of protein more, right? So you're going to absolutely hit your protein goals and you will absolutely pack on enough or add enough calories per day to pack on some size. Now, if you're also lifting weights on top of that, then you will see results. Okay. If you, and I'm not, don't decrease any of your other calories. Don't change anything. Just add this and tell me that your metabolism is so fast that you can't gain weight. No, it's not so fast that you can't gain weight. It's just that you're not eating as much as you think you are. And if you can't add that per meal, if that's too much for you, then you can't be one of these people who say, I eat so much food. I no matter how much I eat, I just can't gain weight. Like, dude, stop. This isn't that much. I don't care what people say about like protein is filling, and like peanut butter is filling. No, like you can add this per meal, right? If you have like 4 meals a day, then I would say like just, make it 1 tablespoon of peanut butter or maybe a tablespoon and a half of peanut butter. And then like anywhere from like a third to a half of a can of salmon. You'll have like pretty much the same ratios of calories and protein added to your overall macros and overall calorie intake. But yeah, I mean, just do that. If you really think you're a hard gainer, try that out and tell me that doesn't work. It will work if you actually do it, right? So, um, it's going to happen. You're going to gain weight if you do that. Again, me- fast metabolisms don't exist. If in like what I mean is like a magically fast metabolism, like some skinny guy with like not a lot of muscle mass who just exists as like an NPC person with like no like physical activity or muscle on his frame isn't going to magically burn like thousands and thousands of calories more. It just isn't going to happen. Okay. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully, this helps. Have a good day. Feel free to subscribe. Bye.